Coming up, a review of the book Power and Progress, Our Thousand-Year-Old Struggle Over Technology and Prosperity, written by Daron and Simon Johnson. Namaste friends, my name is Shil Subramanian Paimal and you are listening to the Histology podcast. Before I proceed, a full disclosure. This book was bought with my own money and not been provided to me by the authors or publisher. Little bit about the authors. Daron is an Institute Professor of Economics at MIT. He is the co-author with James Robinson of The Narrow Corridor and the New York Times bestseller Why Nations Fail. Simon Johnson is the Ronald A. Coates Professor of Entrepreneurship in the Sloan School at MIT, where he is also head of the Global Economics and Management Group. He is the co-author with Jonathan Gruber of Jumpstarting America and with James Quack of White House Burning and the national bestseller 13 Bankers. Let me read what is written on the back cover of the book. Quote, 1,000 years of history and contemporary evidence make one thing clear. Progress is not automatic but depends on the choices we make about technology. New ways of organizing production and communication can either serve the narrow interest of an elite or become the foundation for widespread prosperity. Much of the wealth generated by agricultural advances during the European Middle Ages was captured by the church and used to build grand cathedrals, while the peasants starved. The first 100 years of industrialization in England delivered stagnant incomes for workers, while making a few people very rich. And throughout the world today, digital technologies and artificial intelligence increase inequality and undermine democracy through excessive automation, massive data collection, and intrusive surveillance. It doesn't have to be this way. Power and Progress demonstrates that the path of technology was once and can again be brought under control. The tremendous computing advances of the last half century can become empowering and democratizing tools, but not if all the major decisions remain in the hands of a few hubristic tech leaders striving to build a society that elevates their own power and prestige. With their breakthrough economic theory and manifesto for a better society, Acemoglu and Johnson provide the understanding and the vision to reshape how we innovate and who really gains from technological advances so we can create real prosperity for all. Unquote. Some of the things I learned after reading this book. First, the word technology comes from the Greek techne, that is skilled craft, and logia, that is speaking or telling, implying systematic study of a technique. Second, power is about the ability of an individual or group to achieve explicit or implicit objectives. If two people want the same loaf of bread, power determines who will get it. The objective in question need not be a material one. It will sometimes be about whose vision of the future of technology will prevail. Third, British historian and politician Lord Acton famously remarked in 1887, quote, power tends to corrupt and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Great men are almost always bad men even when they exercise influence and not authority. Still more when you superadd the tendency or the certainty of corruption by authority. There is no worse heresy than the office sanctifies the holder of it. Unquote. Fourth, ever since the term Industrial Revolution was coined in the late 19th century, a wide variety of thinkers have put forward explanations for why Britain was first. Theories can be usefully grouped into 5 main buckets: geography, culture, including religion and innate entrepreneurship, natural resources, economic factors, and government policies. Fifth, in 1700, India had some of the most advanced ceramics, metalworking, and printed textile products in the world, all produced by highly skilled artisans who were well paid by the standards of the time. The much coveted Damascus steel was from India, and its calico and muslin were greatly prized in England. In response, the English woolen goods industry lobbied successfully for import restrictions in order to keep out the high-quality Indian textiles. Sixth, members of the British elite were convinced that they should remake Indian society, purportedly to civilize it, but in reality for their own ends. Seventh, Lord Dalhousie, Governor General of India in the early 1850s, was adamant that India needed to adopt Western institutions, administration and technology. Railways, Lord Dalhousie argued, will afford to India the best security which can now be devised for the continued extension of these great measures of public improvement and for the consequent increase of the prosperity and wealth in the territories committed to its charge. But instead of economic modernization, railways brought British economic interests and they intensified control over the Indian population. Eighth, the economic hardships and incompetence and in the eyes of many, indifferent policy reactions paved the way to an almost complete loss of legitimacy of established parties and the rise of the National Socialist Nazi Party. The Nazis were no more than a fringe political movement, receiving only 2.6% of the national vote share in 1928 election before the Depression. Their vote share shot up in the first election after depression and reached 37.3% in July 1932. In November 1932, the Nazis lost ground but still won 33.1% of the vote, and in January 1933, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor. 9th, President William McKinley's campaigns in 1896 and 1900 were generously funded by businesses, organized in part by Senator Mark Hanna, who summed up the system this way: there are two things that are important in politics. The first is money, and I can't remember what the second one is. Conclusion. I really enjoyed reading the book. It is very difficult to cover so many topics in a single book, but the authors have done a great job. If you are interested to know what is behind business and governmental decisions, this is the right book. I give the book 4.5 out of 5. The book is available for around Rs 625 on Amazon India and for around the same price on Flipkart, and it is available for 23.99 USD on Amazon USA. I have given the respective buy links in the show notes. Please check them out for the latest prices. I would like to end this book review with a quote by Isaac Asimov on the problem of our current system of education. Quote, "Today, what people call learning is forced on you. Everyone is forced to learn the same thing on the same day at the same speed in class, but everyone is different. For some, class goes too fast, for some, too slow, for some, in the wrong direction." Last but not the least, thank you for spending a valuable time listening to this book review. Really grateful. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Histology podcast on your favorite podcasting app, and also feel free to leave a review. Also, please check histology.com for all previous episodes. Thanks and looking forward to hearing from you. Take care and bye.